Will you make a promise? There's some reforms coming up that Nicole McKee is leading. A lot of people have concerns because of her previous life. She was part of a lobby that,
Current life.
Lobbied.
Previous life. You think these guys aren't still doing that job? She might be doing it voluntary now, but come on, guys.
We
life.
have concerns about the life that she's currently living.
Yeah.
Against changes that the government made in the post-March 15 era. Will you make a promise that when those gun reforms happen, you will not let military-style semi-automatic firearms be more accessible to people than they are today?
I can reassure you, we haven't had the conversations in Cabinet yet because there's, as you know, there's 4 phases to
Okay, so when you start off with, I can reassure you, and then you go to, we haven't had the conversations, then there's no reassurance in that. You're trying to find the answer. I can reassure you that we haven't had the answers. Why do I need reassurance that you haven't had the conversation yet? What are you reassuring me of, Mr. Prime Minister? I can reassure you that we haven't had the conversations. I don't need reassurance about when the conversations are happening. I want reassurance that there's not going to be more of these military-style weapons out on the grounds.
Had the conversations in Cabinet yet because there's, as you know, there's 4 phases to the reforms that are taking place. One was around clubs. We've got to work our way through the Arms Act rewrite, which is an old piece of legislation that is really clunky and not clear. And what we want is maximum clarity.
See, it's quite simple, right? It's yes, I give you that assurance, or it's no, I can't give you that assurance. That's how you answer this question.
And we want maximum improved and enhanced public safety. So I can reassure you.
Did you get that? Enhanced public safety. Middle manager, there's your new buzzwords. We want enhanced public safety.
My starting position with Nicole has been very clearly, we need to see enhanced public safety. So I don't.
But does that include making sure that military-style semi-automatics don't go to any more people than they currently are? So there's pest controllers and collectors at the moment. Will that be extended to anyone else? Will there be more access?
Again, we're in a public consultation process. The public will be consulted. There's targeted consultations been going on as well. I need to let that process run. There'll be a cabinet conversation. But what I can reassure you about is that the position of me and many of our cabinet colleagues is very firm around wanting to see public safety. Words.
So I'm going to reassure. He sounds like Trump. I can reassure you that myself and my cabinet members are very keen to have enhanced safety, but just not like this. Now, the reason that this is horseshit is that the conversation before, which we're not going to play, he was talking about military academies, and Jenna Lynch brought together the 2 parts to do with the apology to the survivors of abuse in state care and said, do you give us a guarantee that if youth in the new boot camps got abused, you would shut it down? And you know what he said? He said, yes, I would shut it down. He didn't go through and go, well, there's a public consultation and that was a trial and we need to, he said yes. So this is all bullshit because he can say yes or no if he wants to. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to say, I give you that assurance. He wants to say, enhanced public safety. I assure you, you can be confident that we are going to look out for your safety. Are you going to look out for our safety by making sure there are not more of those murder weapons out there? All I can do is assure you that enhanced public safety will be worked out. It's horrific, Chewie. Sir, if you want to add anything?
No, there's so many words. Let's see how many words he's still got to go.
We've got about 90 seconds on this clip.
Can't say that there won't be more.
It's unfair of me to go presuppose a conversation that we haven't had.
But it's not unfair of him to say it about boot camps. See, this is the thing. He said he gave that assurance about it. It wasn't unfair then.
Chance to have a conversation out in Cabinet. So I appreciate you want the answer, but you're not going to get the answer because I need to follow a process to make sure.
Because we have to check in with our funders first. He says allegedly from a distance. Allegedly.
Or that actually I need to let that run because there's a number of other issues, frankly, around the Arms Act that we need to improve to strengthen public safety. And I get it, semi-automatic is a piece of it, but it's not all of it. And I want to look at that in the round and I want to understand it, but I want to reassure you, we want to make sure at the end of it all there's a much stronger public safety.
The gun registry.
Much stronger public safety. Much stronger public safety. What about getting rid of those military style, keeping them out? I will assure you it will be safer. How? It's my assurance to you. And now there's a little bit about the gun registry. I was going to take it out, but actually it's more telling because remember we've spoken to
the registry is really important.
And we've spoken to people about this. We've spoken to the police association that they want it kept in. The police want it kept in.
We want to make sure at the end of it all is a much stronger public safety.
The gun register is something that is part of those reforms. The police really don't want that scrapped. Will you commit to not scrapping the gun
All
register?
we've committed to is to make sure that it is functioning.
So that's a no. I won't commit to that. It's much easier just to say no, Mr. Prime Minister, rather than all this horse shit.
As a review of the gun registry, not to scrap the gun registry. We've said we'd undertake a review. It's
So you won't scrap it?
Well, it's appropriate we do a review, and that review needs to run its course to see how we...
He never said it's appropriate to do a review if there was abuse against the kids in the boot camps. He never went, if that happens, it would be appropriate to do a review. He went, yes. Yes, I would scrap it. And then he goes on to say how it's not going to happen, fine. But he said, yes, it would be scrapped.
We can improve
So you
it,
could
what's
scrap
working
it.
well, what's not working well, and then we'll come together and have a conversation.
Scrapping
about
it is on the table.
I would just say to you, I don't think that's very likely. We're doing a review of it to make sure that, but let's see and let that work go through. You know, in fairness, that's our commitment and the coalition agreement, and it's a legitimate one because you've seen gun registries all around the world be imposed and put together, and they've been badly run, badly managed. And as you've seen us make
This is our
interventions
Prime
on things
Minister,
like,
people.
for example, school lunches, where we actually are able to...
Because, you know, military style weapons are exactly fucking like school lunches. You can draw a direct parallel between, you know, a military style weapon getting into the hands of someone and buttered chicken getting into the hands of someone. It's exactly the fucking same.
Us make interventions on things like, for example, school lunches, where we actually are able to feed more kids at lower cost and get a better outcome. We want to make sure that we've got everything set up right to manage that.
How did we
so we'll do a
get
review
here?
of the gun registry.
I feel like I'm having a stroke.
Maybe you are, sir. Does the room smell like burnt toast right now where you are?
I can't smell anything since we did that barbecue. Look, I'm not going to tell Luxon how to do his job, right? Because clearly I'd prefer that he didn't. But there's a way to answer that question. We all know that there is a democratic procedural way that they're going to have to work through this. And all of, look, what I'd say to you, Jenna, is this. I have a personal view that we don't need more semi-automatic weapons more freely available in this country. And that will be the position that I take into the discussion that we will have around the law change. You haven't prejudged anything.
So you know what's interesting?
You've come off like a person with a fucking opinion and a brain in your noggin.
But do you know what's interesting about that, Chewie? There is a consultation period at the moment about the Treaty Principles Bill. He's perfectly comfortable going, we are going to do this as often as he can and as loud as he can. Why is he not bringing the same delicate, walking on eggshells around the treaty? I shouldn't say anything. We got to let the process. He's not saying any of that. He's going, nah, it's rooted. We're not going to vote for it. So this is the hypocrisy, and this is evidence that he just doesn't want to talk about it. He's using it as an excuse because the stuff he does want to talk about, Treaty Principles Bill, he is absolutely making it clear that they are putting their thumb on the scale when it comes to that falling over. But when it comes to the gun registry, he won't put his thumb on that scale. You know, when it comes to the boot camps, he will put his thumb on that scale and say if there's any abuse, it will be stopped, the thing. But he won't put his thumb on the scale when it comes to the military-style weapons or the gun registry. Why not? What's the difference, Mr. Luxon?